commute, although I don't expect there to be many problems. Just a good idea to take it slow in case. The rain moves out pretty quickly as we head into the midday hours, and then into the afternoon we'll start to dry it up, but it stays cold. High temperatures struggle to get into the 40s. Our weather, though, gets better, mainly dry over the weekend. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
If you're a builder and you haven't went to Little Shaver's Wood Shop, you're missing all types of lumber products, hard to find woods and paneling materials that are in stock and ready to help you conquer anything the job throws your way. Locally owned, Little Shaver's Wood Shop has a friendly, knowledgeable staff to get you in, out, and on with your day. Little Shaver's Wood Shop, 3301 Salisbury Highway in Statesville. Little Shaver's Wood Shop, LILshavers.com.
The following is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the views of WSIC.
Welcome this Friday. Not the typical happy, beautiful day. It's not.
No, that is not.
It's not. Yeah, so it's cold, and we're warming up now. I just got myself a coffee, and
I think I've officially become southernized.
Have you?
You know, freezing cold, walking around with my old man sweatshirt on all day. I used to make fun of my dad about when I was a kid, and here I am turning into him. So
yeah, for those of you listening, if you can't tell, Dan is not from the South.
No, you're born and raised in a little town between Buffalo and Rochester, and boy, I never had a problem with snow and the cold. Didn't mind it at all. Always wore shorts until it was 40 degrees, and not no more, man.
You get conditioned, don't you?
Yeah, when it's 90 degrees outside and you're not breaking a sweat, you've become southernized,
Yeah.
and when it's 55 out and you got your jeans on, that's how you
Complaining about the cold.
Yeah, that's how you know you left the north back home.
That's it.
I guess 13 years will do that. Took a while, but I'm here, I guess.
13 years.
Yeah, believe it or not.
So I'm going to call this the Dan Show today because we've got most of our information is going to come from Firewire Dan. And we've got some lighter topics to hit later because it's been a couple weeks since we've been on. And I felt forever in the break that I had not talked to you in ages. And so finally we caught up a couple of days ago. But we did take a break last week for Thanksgiving. So we'll get into some lighter stuff later. But Dan was at the Iredell County Courthouse yesterday for a case that has really, for lack of a better word, angered the county, county residents and beyond. Yep. So he was in the courtroom, so he was able to listen to testimony, and I want to hear about it. I watched the news, but I want to hear it from you.
Yeah, Dave Faraday was there. He was recording. He doesn't have the capability to go live, I don't think, because that would have been pretty cool if people could watch it. And people have people reached out to me saying, "Hey, can you just go live? Put it for subscribers only or whatever. Try to make a buck." But I said no. I don't have the capability. I'll just be honest. I mean, I could sit there and do it on my cell phone, but you're not going to get great audio that way and not be able to hear what's really going on. But
well, it looked like it was very emotional yesterday.
Yeah. It started out yesterday morning with a paramedic, one of the first paramedics on scene, and she described just chaos.
Is that the one that I watched and I texted you about, and she cried?
Yeah,
and I cried.
Yeah, she got emotional. She admitted during the case that, or during her testimony, that this was her first child fatality call in 7 or 8 years of being a paramedic. So I mean,
that stays with you too.
Yeah, those calls always haunt you. Been there, done that, and I can still recount my first few. It's something that's never easy.
I was not a paramedic, obviously, but as a reporter, I went to the scene of a family that had
that
died.
Burned up, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And so I can identify at least, and So
she gave a moving testimony, and then up next was Chief Lenderman from Iredell Rescue Squad, and I tell you, man, I've only talked to Chief Lenderman on the phone. Never met him in person, and to be honest, when he was walking down the aisle, I didn't know 100% who he was because I had missed who the next witness was. Somebody was talking to me, and I said, man, I think that's Chief Lenderman, but I'm not 100% sure, and sure enough it was. He was not rattled, man. He was steadfast.
Your write-up made it sound just like that, too.
He answered all the questions from the DA who's prosecuting the case. And then obviously it was Ken Daugherty's turn to cross-examine
the defense attorney.
Yep. And it was just interesting to see, a lot of people will get rattled by Ken. Listen, Ken's doing a job. His job is a defense attorney.
Yeah.
And his job is to put holes in the story. But I got to give Chief Lenderman all the props in the world. He stood up and, when Ken tried to put inconsistencies, Chief was like, listen, you weren't there. This was chaos. And the only thing I wanted to, you wish as a spectator you could speak up and say, this is what I was thinking anyways. Hey, Ken, imagine an earthquake happens right now. Do you think that guy over there's drunk? Because he kept saying, did you get the indication that Harmon was under the influence? And the chief was like, got no clue. I didn't pay attention to him. I didn't even know who he was. I didn't know who the driver was. And the defense attorney, Ken Daugherty, kept trying. Every person was brought up. Did you think he was under the influence? Did you think he was under the influence? From a first responder standpoint, you don't care about that.
You're trying to save lives, right?
That is the job of law enforcement when law enforcement gets there. When I was a deputy, that was my job as a deputy. That wasn't my job as a firefighter or a medic on scene. That's not our job, and nor do we care about it. Our job is to protect property as a firefighter and as a medic to preserve life.
Yeah.
Right? So, he tried to trip up the chief a few times, especially with one of the kids that was on the road deceased, baby Bentley. It was an obvious death without going into much detail. But, the chief said he believes it was a female that he walked by. And Daugherty kept going after him. It wasn't a female. That was a male. The chief was like, it was 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. There's lights flashing everywhere, and God knows we don't use rotators anymore because those weren't good enough for 75 years. We have to use, these enormously bright, ridiculous LEDs today that blind the hell out of you.
They really are bright.
And, everybody on scene has them, and they're blinding. So, he kept just hammering about this dead child that was a male and not a female. It was kind of hilarious.
Just trying to trip it up.
Just trying to trip them up, trying to put holes in the story, which weren't there. And man, Lenderman he was great. I loved it.
Your write-up totally made it sound like that, too.
Yeah.
Like you were very impressed with how steadfast he was.
He's an old school guy. You're not going to trip up, an old man like that. You can try. You're not going to rattle him, But then I met one talked who's the EMS supervisor out of Statesville, and he didn't have much to add other than he was there to support his staff, and he helped do the pronouncement. They helped do the pronouncement of a few of the deceased on scene, and then Amy Mills was up after lunch, and that was real emotional listening to her. Just imagine being the mother. You've lost your fiance, you've lost a child, and what turned out to be 8 or 9 days later, you lost what was going to be your stepdaughter.
And she lost a leg.
She lost her leg, and the other leg was literally hanging there by tissue meat.
And when I heard yesterday in the report that she had said she saw that they were going to be hit, and she threw
her baby off.
out. Yeah, that was gut wrenching.
We'll take our first break on WSIC here, and we'll be back in just a few moments.
Investigative, uncompromising, unafraid. We'll be right back with The Scoop, hosted by Jaime Gatton, only on WSIC. Local starts here.
Well, it's just a cold, raw rain across the Lake Norman area. Keep an eye out for a few slick spots for the morning commute, although I don't expect there to be many problems. Just a good idea to take it slow in case. The rain moves out pretty quickly as we head into the midday hours, and then into the afternoon we'll start to dry it up, but it stays cold. High temperatures struggle to get into the 40s. Our weather, though, gets better, mainly dry over the weekend. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Hi, this is Bob McIntosh with the McIntosh Law Firm in Davidson. Since 1997, we have been committed to providing our clients with competent, caring, and experienced legal services. Learn more at McIntoshLawFirm.com.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. The lighting of the Statesville Christmas tree is set for Thursday, December 4th in front of the Old County Courthouse. Enjoy holiday songs at 6 p.m., while the countdown to light the tree will be at 6:45. Downtown Statesville has extended shopping and dining hours Thursday for the annual Christmas tree lighting. Christmas in Davidson returns on Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9 p.m. nightly. Opening ceremonies will be on December 4th with their tree lighting on the town green. Enjoy a holiday light show, roving entertainment, an artisan village, a children's craft area, and more. Visit townofdavidson.org for more details. Saturday, the Troutman Christmas Parade begins at 11 a.m. The procession is collecting toys for the Marine Corps Toys for Tots program. Click on troutmannc.gov for parade information. The 43rd Annual North Mecklenburg Holiday Parade will take place on Saturday at 1 p.m. The route begins on Main Street in Davidson and ends in Cornelius at Catawba Avenue. Call Davidson's Parks and Rec Department with questions at 704-892-3349. Speedway Christmas at Charlotte Motor Speedway is happening now and runs through January 4th. The drive-through holiday light show features more than 5 million lights circling the iconic oval, pit road, and infield road course. Visit charlottemotorspeedway.com for tickets and information on Speedway Christmas. Join the Hickory Christmas Show to kick off the holiday season. Start a new family tradition with a visit to the show Friday through Sunday at the Hickory Metro Convention Center. Head to hickorychristmasshow.com for more information. Stay up to date and find out about local events, job opportunities, real estate information, and more. Visit liveworkplaylkn.com and sign up for the weekly newsletter. That's liveworkplaylkn.com.
Is your to-do list overwhelming? DIY gone awry? From leaky faucets, squeaky doors, and rooms in need of a makeover, House Doctors of Mooresville handles it all. Free estimates, quality materials, and a 1-year guarantee. We fix it, you relax. Visit housedoctors.com/Mooresville.
Hard questions, real answers. The Scoop continues with Jaime Gatton. WSIC, local starts here.
All right, we're back on WSIC, and we left off talking about the Austin Harmon case yesterday in court, and we left off that Amy Mills had just came in after lunch and started to testify or be examined, I guess it would be. That was a real emotional, she was in tears most of the time. A mother having to relive that night, and it sounds like she recalled most of it. And she was very adamant to her fiance, hey, that car's not stopping, that car's not stopping. And in the last second, she threw Bailey, the little daughter at 2 years old at the time, off the golf cart, to save her life. And she ended up with 2 broken legs, a broken jaw, and a broken collarbone, I think it was. Yeah. But, being so small and her father being ejected off of the golf cart and onto the roof of Harmon's vehicle probably saved her life. Amy admits that she can't remember if Bailey was sitting on her left leg or between them. In all honesty, it probably saved Bailey's life. Yeah. And it was just an instinct of a mother to save her child. And unfortunately, the people in the back succumbed to the injuries. Sad, real sad. Everybody was ejected. Amy landed in the road with one loss of a leg, the other one, just hanging by muscle tissue, as was explained. So it was a very traumatic scene and sad all the way around. Amy, in a lighthearted moment, she got confused on her right and left side of the road, And it just proved everybody's human.
Yeah.
You know, she was, reliving this on the stand, people looking at her, and, the attorney had to give her a diagram. And what side of the road do we drive on here in the United States, And, she chuckled when she realized, oh man, I'm thinking about that wrong. But, it's just how human mind under traumatic events.
I was going to say, how do you expect?
Up,
I mean, yeah.
So let's go over some charges for Harmon, because there's all this conspiracy of Harmon and his charges. And, he's had multiple DWIs, and, well, that's not true, that I have found anyways. So I looked everything up, and he was arrested on August 28th, 2025, and that was by the Salisbury Police Department for defrauding an innkeeper. He was also charged that same day with second-degree trespass. So that was the latest charge that he has had, because this gentleman certainly does have a history.
Let's not call him a gentleman.
Yeah. Trying to save myself from a lawsuit, Jamie. On, what's that, May 29th. I always get that wrong. April 29th.
Mm-hmm.
He was arrested by the Statesville Police Department for intoxicated and disruptive charge.
And when is that again?
That was 2023. So that would have been April 2023. Okay, that was with Statesville. So since this, he's had 2 arrests that I found. Okay, one of them was for a drunk charge, not DWI. The charge is intoxicated and disruptive, which means he was walking and drunk, and he was causing some sort of scene, apparently, by what Statesville PD arrested him for. He's been charged with 3 counts of felony death by vehicle stemming from the June 13th incident. He's also been charged with felony serious injury by vehicle, all stemming from that date. That's going back to the same. There was another charge here that he was arrested that night for DWI. That was the initial charge to get him under arrest, and he blew a .12. So legal limit in the state of North Carolina. I think everywhere else in every other 49 of the states is .08.
Mm-hmm.
So he was for .04 over the legal limit there. Back in 2018, he was arrested for failure to maintain lane. Charged, I shouldn't say arrested, and that was with the sheriff's office. He was also arrested that same day for possession of marijuana, up to a ½ ounce, which is a misdemeanor charge in the state of North Carolina. Anything over a ½ ounce is I think that's felony, if I'm not mistaken. No, that wouldn't be right, because felony doesn't start till 43, or is that 43 grams? 40, I don't remember all those charges anymore. It's been a couple of years since I've charged them. There was another charge here I'm looking for.
Good grief.
He was also charged with reckless driving, obviously, that night that whole incident happened. He had another charge. There it is. Another one, possession of marijuana on November 13th, 2017. He was then arrested for RDO, which is restrict, obstruct, and delay. And that was on October 17th, 2015. That was with the Davie County Sheriff's Office, also charged with second-degree trespass that time as well. And gosh, there was one more charge. I know I'm looking for it here. There it is. Consuming alcohol by a 19 or 20-year-old. That was on April 19th, 2016. Also charged by the Davie County Sheriff's Office. He was arrested for drug paraphernalia of this year as well. 9/26/2025, operating a vehicle with no insurance, failure to maintain a driver's license because his license is suspended. That was also on that same date, 9/26/2025, failure to maintain control of a vehicle on 9/26/2025, and expired registration. That was back on 8/24/2001. So as you all can see, this dude has got some charges. He's been arrested what I can see twice since this incident, and driving charges, which he doesn't have a driver's license. So he was driving with no license by the
It
sounds
really
of it.
does beg the question, which I know a lot of social media is asking. Why would he be out to do this?
So everybody is entitled to a bond. You know,
Sure.
unless it's a heinous crime, you're not going to get held without a bond. I think his initial bond was 200,000, if I'm not mistaken, 250, somewhere in there. And after some of these new charges came to light, you know, I put a post out, and you know, and I was contacted by friends and family of the affected people in this incident, and said, "Hey, can you share this, or can you bring this to light?" And so I did. I brought the charges to light, and within a week or two, the bond wasn't revoked. A lot of people think it was revoked, and my understanding is that it was not revoked; it was increased. So like I said, I think he had a $200,000 to $250,000 bond that he did make, and he was out on bond since, you know, these charges were set back in 2022. He's been out on bond this entire time, and it was raised to $700,000. And the way bond works in North Carolina, if you use a bail bondsman, you got to pay 10 to 15% of your actual bond amount, and the rest of it's secured through the bondsman. But apparently he doesn't have that money, or nor does his family, because he's been sitting in jail for the past few months, awaiting trial here. So that's that. It is what
And
it
they
is. They resume the case on Monday.
right?
I should be there. I don't think I have any plans on Monday. And I think you mentioned you were interested in
I
going
want
as
to go.
well.
I just have to find somebody to let the doggies out
Yep. So
halfway through the day.
so we'll be up there, and I plan on being there throughout this, unless something happens that I can't be, obviously. But I think it's a great public interest.
Oh,
And,
it definitely is.
So, you know, the people deserve to know what's going on. I know next week's testimony, Amy will be cross-examined by the defense Monday morning at 9:30. So that's going to be probably a good part of the morning, if not longer. Because, you know, as we said earlier, a defense attorney has a job, and it's to put holes in the story.
Have we found out whether he was court appointed or
What E-Courts says, yes, it was court appointed. But, you know, that's what E-Court says. I don't know if that's what it always says I don't know. I don't know E-Courts well. It's a brand new system here in Iredell County, so still learning it. But it does say court appointed under him, yes. Let's call a spade a spade. The driver of the golf cart was drinking. He had what is reported as a 32-ounce beer at Mi Pueblo for dinner that evening. Amy says that they were there for approximately 2 to 2.5 hours, and he didn't finish that 32-ounce drink. I had a little sidebar with the defense attorney over another issue that popped up during the trial yesterday. And we're not going to get into that, but the defense attorney and I spoke, and he said that he will be presenting evidence that he believes that there was more to be that Mike was drinking more by eyewitness accounts. You know, eyewitness accounts, you know, I don't know if they're testifying or not. Time will tell. You know, he'll be able to bring that up later in the case. So we'll see. It's going to be an interesting case. It's
got to be rough. I mean, and like you said, defense attorneys are defense attorneys. I mean, and everybody has a right to have one. But it's got to be tough. I don't know. Maybe my heart just goes out to the family so much because now you've lived through this. You're still living through it. You'll live through it for the rest of your life. And now on trial, the cross-examination and talking about somebody who can't really defend themselves. That's just very tough.
Yeah, it is. You know, and we'll never know what Mike's BAC was, blood alcohol content. He was buried or cremated or whatever he was, and that wasn't done for whatever reason. But I don't know the laws on that. So, all right, we'll be back. WSIC.
Investigative, uncompromising, unafraid. We'll be right back with The Scoop, hosted by Jaime Gatton, only on WSIC. Local starts here.
Well, it's just a cold, raw rain across the Lake Norman area. Keep an eye out for a few slick spots for the morning commute, although I don't expect there to be many problems. Just a good idea to take it slow in case. The rain moves out pretty quickly as we head into the midday hours, and then into the afternoon we'll start to dry it up, but it stays cold. High temperatures struggle to get into the 40s. Our weather, though, gets better, mainly dry over the weekend. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Give the gift of wow. Shop at Harrison's. They'll be all smiles in new Carhartt. Ariat has layers they'll love, and there's nothing merrier than a pair of Tacovas. Find gifts for everyone at the home of Work Western and wow in Mooresville or at harrisonsusa.com.
Harness the healing power of horses. With the amazing staff at Willow Equine in Mooresville, we create a supportive environment conducive to healing and growth, dedicated to self-discovery and overcoming adversity. There's a program for you at willowequine.com.
Hello, yes, I'm Andrea, the owner of Spotless Cleaning. And yes, I'm excited for Christmas. Time with family is my favorite part. When everyone arrives, what must be done is finally finished. Growing up in Brazil, my grandparents taught me everything must be perfect. There are things you want to do yourself, like shopping, wrapping, maybe cooking. Leave the cleaning shop trained technicians. I know they are bigger than elves, but work just as hard. It's Spotless Cleaning and C.com.
We speak fluent Fix-It. House Doctors of Mooresville handles repairs, renovations, property maintenance, and more. Ceiling fans, shelves, full room makeovers. We have the experience, tools, and insured background check team to transform your space. 1-year guarantee ensures it's done right the first time. Visit housedoctors.com/Mooresville.
Looking to sell or buy in Huntersville or Lake Norman?
Hi, I'm Jeff Sny, owner and managing broker of Blue Oak Realty Group. Here's the truth. Your needs don't pause for the market. Whether you need more space, less space, or just the right fit, I'll help you create a smart strategy that makes sense for your family and your goals. With over a decade of experience right here in Lake Norman, I know this community, and I treat every client's goals like my own.
Call Jeff today or visit blueoakrealtygroup.com. Outstanding service, smart moves. That's Blue Oak Realty Group.
Hello, everyone. This is Joshua Doby, president of North Main Financial Group. At North Main Financial Group, we move to where you need us. Investment management, insurance planning, and estate strategies. No two people are the same, so we customize our planning based upon your needs. Reach out to us at northmainfinancial.com. That's northmainfinancial.com.
Special buy Randy Marion Chevrolet of Statesville and Randy Marion Chevrolet of Mooresville 2024 brand new Chevrolet Malibus. These are the LTs starting at $19,988. That's right, $19,988 brand new. Not a pre-owned car. Malibus starting at $19,988. That's right, Statesville Chevy, Mooresville Chevy. Come see us today. Pick the color, drive it home. You got it. King of price, king of deals. Randy Marion Chevrolet of Statesville, Randy Marion Mooresville.
Shake things up, Lake Norman. Great design for you is here. We bring luxury interior design to life, specializing in stunning kitchen and bath renovations. From conception to completion, we handle every detail. Every project is unique. Our expertise makes the difference. Visit our downtown Mooresville studio by booking your 100% risk-free appointment today at greatdesignforyou.com. Design beyond your dreams.
Don't miss a thing. Download the WSIC News app today. WSIC. Local starts here.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Just in this morning, a crucial early December snapshot of the collective U.S. consumer mood. The University of Michigan's Consumer Sentiment Index rose for the first time in 5 months, bolstered by a more optimistic outlook for personal finances as inflation expectations improved. Consumers expect prices to rise at an annual rate of 4.1% over the next year, down from a month earlier and the lowest since January. Views about the job market improved slightly this month, though a majority of respondents still expect unemployment to rise in the coming year. Netflix has agreed to acquire Warner Brothers Discovery in one of the biggest media mergers of all time, a deal worth about $72 billion. This will allow Warner Brothers to complete the planned spin-off of its television networks division, which includes cable channels like CNN, TBS, and TNT. And Portuguese soccer star Cristiano Ronaldo has taken an equity stake in AI software maker Perplexity AI and is helping the company launch an interactive hub for his fans on its search engine. Erica Herskowitz, Bloomberg Radio.
The button pushing stops here.
WSIC. Local starts here.
Hard questions, real answers. The Scoop continues with Jaime Gatton. WSIC, local starts here.
All right, we're back in WSIC with myself and Jamie from the Mooresville Scoop. So we're going to get into another case that took quite a bit of social media comments and all that happened the past couple weeks. So
there's been quite a bit, hasn't there? Is it the
listen,
holidays or what?
I don't know. This has been a good month for Dan, I can tell you that.
It's kept you busy, hasn't it?
Yeah, it kept me busy. And so let's see, it was my wife's birthday. Got a message from a friend.
When was her birthday?
The 23rd of November.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I don't know if I wish her happy birthday, so happy late birthday.
Yep, there you go. I know she's listening. So we won't give her age because I don't want to embarrass her, but she's young at heart and she does 10 times more than I could ever imagine it doing. So she's a good woman.
She is.
But anyways, I didn't even get a message. I heard it on the radio. Then I got the message. I heard a familiar voice over the radio calling 1018 traffic. And anybody who knows in the radio world, the emergency services world, knows 1018 in Iredell County is, I got an emergency, answer me. And, well, that went on deaf ears. We won't get into that story, but it went on deaf ears for about 10 seconds. And then this person called 1018 traffic again and was finally answered on the radio. And he reported that he had just been hit by a drunk driver, and that drunk driver then rammed him and then fled the scene. So it turned out that this particular fireman followed the person at a safe distance, and then this drunk driver decided to turn into a driveway, get himself stuck in a little ditch, and that's when my friend decided to get out of his vehicle and approach this gentleman and be like, what in the hell is going on? And at that point, you could hear my buddy on his dash cam say, man, I think this guy's drunk, you know, in a few choice words. He did have his son with him, who's underage, obviously, and
the guy reversed into
literally backed up into my buddy, you know.
And then the car was still going or something.
Yeah, my buddy decided to back up, and the guy was out of his car, and now here comes his car again, ramming him because he never put the damn car in park.
Unreal.
You know, you could hear my buddy screaming, "Put your car in!" You know the way.
Yep.
But
golly. And you know, I mean, we chuckle about it now.
Yeah.
Everybody's obviously okay.
Yep,
but
yep.
somebody like that out on the road.
Yeah.
I mean.
So let's get into the nitty gritty of that. So that was on November 23rd. Okay. And he blew that night. On that arrest by Highway Patrol, he blew a .19, so twice the legal limit. Okay? 4 days prior, he got arrested by Statesville PD for DWI and open container. And you ready for this, folks? He blew a .36.
Unbelievable.
What's that? 4.5 times the legal limit?
So the one that you have the video of, the dash cam of, that was a .19.
.19.
And we saw how bad of shape he was in.
Yep.
That's
Imagine,
double.
That's double, yeah.
Unbelievable.
So this dude on his .36 arrest was given a bond of $2,500.
$2,500?
$2,500. So as what we talked about before, he was given a bond. You paid 10 to 15% of it, paid $250, got himself out of jail. Okay? 4 days later, he gets another arrest after ramming my buddy. And now he was given a secured $2,500 bond again. But the magistrate decided, I'm going to give the same bond, but I'm going to hold it until you see a judge, which would come the next morning. If you don't know, if you're arrested in Iredell County, if you're arrested Sunday through Friday, you see the judge the next day at 8 o'clock. That's what time's court's set for. You know, you might not see the judge till 2 in the afternoon. It all depends how many people are arrested before you. But that's the way it works. You see the judge next day. So the judge said, or the magistrate said, I'm going to hold it until you see the judge next day. in which he did. Dan had already made a big deal about this on the Firewire. It was already now in the public, and the judge did the right thing and raised his bond. I believe it was $200,000. And he sits in jail eating his bologna sandwich today. So, and just so you know, guys, people like to make, I've kind of made that somewhat of a tagline.
The bologna sandwich.
The bologna sandwich. Listen, that is true. State law states that the sheriff must provide you 2 warm meals a day. The third one can be a cold sandwich. So the sheriff has agreed to give a warm breakfast, which is some usual looking slop and some ridiculously hard cornbread. I don't even want to call it cornbread. It's kind of like a beige color. It's not yellow. And then for lunch, you'll get some sort of warm meal as well. And then 4:30, 5 o'clock comes around, and here comes your bologna sandwich.
For the food, I'm a kind of a foodie, as you know. For the food alone, I'm going to skip going there.
I can tell you. I remember when I was in training at the sheriff's office, we had to do 2 shifts there. I ended up doing 4 because it was just terrible. We won't get into it, but it was just terrible. I give all the props in the world to anybody who works in the jail. That's a
voluntarily.
Rough job. Voluntarily at that, yeah. It's a rough job. Those guys, Sheriff Campbell has raised their pay to over $50,000. I believe it is now 52 to 55, somewhere in there.
Compensate them.
So it's they're starting to be compensated well for a position that really never paid well back years ago. Those people are being paid fairly well now, but you're put up with a lot.
Yeah.
People don't know how many fights happen in jail. I remember I was in training there that day before hitting the road, and we watched it on video. A guy walked in, a guard walked in, and doing his normal rounds. When a couple of the guys were out of their cells in the little common area they're allowed to be in, and this guy came up to this one particular detention staff member and was talking to him, and watching it on video, you could tell what was about to happen. You could tell this inmate was going to attack, seeing and watching his body language. But when you're just sitting there talking face to face, you're not seeing the guy's hands being clenched because you're talking, And man, he just cold-cocked him. Just cold-cocked this guy. And the detention staff member, went flying. I mean, literally. And I ran out of the jail and was running up there, along with, other people who were free to go help. But by the time I got up there, because, the jail's steel, you got to take the elevator, and the elevator goes slow, and it's meant to do that way to stop escape, but it also slows down a response, when somebody's needed. Every door has to be opened by a control staff in a control room. Nothing's fast, and it's, like I said, meant for that. But by the time I got up there, they had gotten the guy under control, and then we watched it on camera. And, I'm not going to say that kid's name, but he got cold-cocked and got right back up and got in the fight. I mean, that's what they teach you. Don't get yourself out of the fight, because you get yourself out of the fight, you're going to die.
Yeah.
Get your ass back up and fight back. And he did, and all the props to that detention staff member. I don't know if he's still there or not. I don't know. But good for him. So that guy's still in jail. We're going to come back in just a minute and go over just a few other things. We got some exciting news on the Firewire side, and we got a couple other cases we could talk about.
Just
here.
Lighthearted stuff, I think, coming up.
We did, there were a couple teachers arrested here. I think 4 teachers arrested this month.
That was crazy.
All of them 3 of them for assault. One of them was assault on a police officer, or maybe that wasn't a teacher. That was a parent, I think. Yeah, that was a parent. That wasn't a teacher, who went to the school and caused an issue and got into a fight with a SRO. So a lot of stuff going on. Been a busy month. So we'll be back here on WSIC.
Investigative, uncompromising, unafraid. We'll be right back with The Scoop, hosted by Jaime Gatton, only on WSIC. Local starts here.
Well, it's just a cold, raw rain across the Lake Norman area. Keep an eye out for a few slick spots for the morning commute, although I don't expect there to be many problems. Just a good idea to take it slow in case. The rain moves out pretty quickly as we head into the midday hours, and then into the afternoon we'll start to dry it up, but it stays cold. High temperatures struggle to get into the 40s. Our weather, though, gets better, mainly dry over the weekend. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. The lighting of the Statesville Christmas tree is set for Thursday, December 4th in front of the old county courthouse. Enjoy holiday songs at 6 p.m., while the countdown to light the tree will be at 6:45. Downtown Statesville has extended shopping and dining hours Thursday for the annual Christmas tree lighting. Christmas in Davidson returns on Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9 p.m. nightly. Opening ceremonies will be on December 4th with their tree lighting on the town green. Enjoy a holiday light show, roving entertainment, an artisan village, a children's craft area, and more. Visit townofdavidson.org for more details. Saturday, the Troutman Christmas Parade begins at 11 a.m. The procession is collecting toys for the Marine Corps Toys for Tots program. Click on troutmannc.gov for parade information. The 43rd annual North Mecklenburg Holiday Parade will take place on Saturday at 1 p.m. The route begins on Main Street in Davidson and ends in Cornelius at Catawba Avenue. Call Davidson's Parks and Rec Department with questions at 704-892-3349. Speedway Christmas at Charlotte Motor Speedway is happening now and runs through January 4th. The drive-through holiday light show features more than 5 million lights circling the iconic oval, pit road, and infield road course. Visit charlottemotorspeedway.com for tickets and information on Speedway Christmas. Join the Hickory Christmas Show to kick off the holiday season. Start a new family tradition with a visit to the show Friday through Sunday at the Hickory Metro Convention Center. Head to hickorychristmasshow.com for more information. Stay up to date and find out about local events, job opportunities, real estate information, and more. Visit liveworkplaylkn.com and sign up for the weekly newsletter. That's liveworkplaylkn.com.
Reimagining care, restoring trust. Discover One Health, where our mission is creating the healthcare we all deserve. One Health provides comprehensive primary care and OBGYN services across the Lake Norman area. Visit our website at onehealthmpc.com to read our story and find a provider.
Family-focused, customer-centered. At O'Brien Home Loans, we believe every customer deserves the best care when buying or refinancing the home of their dreams. We're family-owned, built on values that put you first. From first homes to debt consolidation and self-employed loans, we've got the experience and the heart to guide you through. Big enough to help, small enough to care. Visit O'BrienHomeLoans.com for your free quote today.
Hard questions, real answers. The Scoop continues with Jaime Gatton. WSIC, local starts here.
All right, we're back in WSIC. We're going to get right into it because this is our last segment. We got a couple things we want to cover. As we were talking right before we left for a break on the last segment was a couple teachers arrested here in Iredell County in the past couple weeks. We had a Troutman teacher and a teacher assistant, 23-year-old teacher Cassidy Ross, and a teacher assistant by the name of Juanita Nesbitt, 59 years old. Cassidy's been charged with 13 counts of assault of an individual with disabilities.
Oh.
And Juanita was charged with 1 count, and that came after Troutman PD looked at over 100 hours of video footage.
Wow.
So good job, Troutman PD. That's awesome. Then we had the Lake Norman wrestling coach. These press releases came out the same day, so a lot of comments on the Firewire about all this. But Stephen Boyle was arrested, $10,000 bond. You know, I don't know about this one. I'm never going to say the detectives didn't do a good job because I don't know the case. But this wrestling coach was breaking up a fight between 2 other students, and one student complained that he had gotten struck multiple times in the head by Boyle, and then ended up with a diagnosed concussion at the hospital later the next day, and an investigation was started by ICSO, He was arrested, given a $10,000 bond, has made bond. I don't know. This is one of those ones you kind of hate to post, but, I have an agreement with law enforcement. I'll post it the way you send it, and that's what I do. That saves me from litigation and, what the sheriff puts out, or Mooresville or Troutman, whoever, I put it out just as I receive it. I don't edit it at all. So I will say some of the Troutman ones, I'll fix punctuation. I don't know who does their press releases, but I do fix their punctuation before I push it out. But other than that, those were the 3 arrested. The other one there was a mother who was in the school doing something with her child and made a fool out of herself by the sounds of it. Fist fight and kind of got started. I've been trying to get the video of it. State laws are state laws.
Is that the one that on social media, a lot of people were actually coming to the parents' defense?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I guess they knew what the kind of crux. I don't know enough about it.
I don't either. I don't care to
I'm
know.
just in the down the rabbit hole of social media.
Listen, I don't care what your feelings are.
You shouldn't fight.
I've seen video that was taken from the outside, and the deputy did everything right. And in my opinion, the deputy didn't go far enough, and that's also the opinion of some other high-level officials I've spoken to. That woman should have been tased and rode the lightning for a little while. That deputy showed extreme restraint for what he legally could have done, and he chose not to. So I guess good for the deputy, because he didn't have to go to those extremes. There's a thing called the force continuum. You try talking doesn't work. You try hands-on doesn't work. You try taser doesn't work. You try mace or whatever they call that stuff today that I hated. Oh my God, the worst experience of my life in training. You try that doesn't work. Well, you only got one more option. It's on your right hip, So there's a force continuum that law enforcement has to abide by, and he stayed at relatively low for what he could have used. So good for the deputy. So a lot of incidents at schools here recently. We're going to talk about one more thing and pass it over to Jamie to talk about some Mooresville stuff. I'm pretty excited. For years and years, I have been attempting to get an app. I worked with a company who... I don't know if they went out of business, was bought out, whatever. I don't know the whole story, but we had an app and running. It continuously crashed. It was kind of a laughing stock, in all honesty. It is.
I remember that when I signed up for it.
This was, I don't want to say, when apps were still in their infancy, but it was certainly something that, technology has improved. I've been dealing with 2 particular people now on an app. Had a meeting the other day. We have a functional app up and running. Have my private scanner feeds being fed into it. We have the address building of the U.S. Postal Service built into it, so we just start typing in an address, so it'll automatically populate. We have mapping in it. So a lot of testing still going on, some revisions, and we're going to hopefully roll that out in the coming year.
It's exciting.
So yeah, super excited. And this will get me off Facebook, because Facebook's the devil, in all honesty. From a business standpoint, that is, Facebook controls a lot of what you do. They take a lot of the money. There's a lot that Facebook does good, but when it comes to the business, it's not as great as what people think. Everybody thinks I'm like this guy racking in hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Don't you wish?
Yeah, that ain't happening, I promise. So we'll have more on that as that comes out. But
that's awesome.
Jamie, over to you, because you're going to talk about something my wife is even upset about. So go right ahead.
So speaking of Facebook, a couple, me on my social media, I kind of like to keep a finger on the pulse of the community that way, and you do. So a couple things that were big. First, really quickly, the 111 home project was phase 4 of a development, I believe. And, all these people took to Facebook and absolutely bashed the Mooresville Town Board before they had even heard this issue. And it was, 1,000% they're going to approve this. they're absolutely money in their pockets. Developers, and listen, it is not my normal thing to defend the government. That's not what I'm doing.
No, not you.
I mean, I think that I've got a reputation where we know I'm not blindly. But come on. The next thing you know, on Monday, there was a meeting and it was voted down.
Overwhelmingly.
Overwhelmingly. And nobody came back onto that post. It was the Charlotte Observer, I think. Nobody came back onto that post and said, you know what, I was wrong. They voted it down.
Oh no, they want to say, oh, they only denied it because we were fighting
heck.
about it.
No.
They care less about what you say in social media. Just let's call a spade a spade.
I think that most of the public officials stay off of social media.
You want to know why that
part.
development was not approved? Here's why: because it had one entrance. That's it.
Yeah.
You're going to put however many homes, 111 homes. That's probably 250, 300 cars with kids and everything. There was one way
entrance.
in, one way out. And you know what they came back and said? Oh, we'll put a locked gate at the end of another development that's not even part of this. And if emergency vehicles need to get in, they'll get in through that back gate.
Yeah.
What?
And you could tell by the quotes that were in the Observer, the commissioners were upset about the kind of like the audacity that you would bring this. I mean, you could tell that they were not pleased. Anyway, another thing that has gotten quite a bit of social media attention, I'm assuming that this is the one that your wife is interested in too, is the lack of, we go back to the Thanksgiving parade, or Christmas parade 2 days before Thanksgiving. The streets in downtown Mooresville look beautiful.
Yeah,
things,
downtown,
and the businesses have really, their windows and all. It's so festive. But once you hit one area on North Main, it's right before, you've got all the buildings, but there's still people considered downtown Mooresville. Listen, all the way to Town Hall. Why? There are no lights except one pole. And Brad from Crazy Cool Collectibles went on Facebook and did a video. And it has one strand of lights wrapped around the pole. And it's like, okay, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And, again, not meaning to just be a negative Nancy, but why wouldn't we extend Christmas lights all through downtown?
Yeah, not only the Christmas lights, but the thing that they used to do at the park.
Yes. Yeah. Well, but why not? Why wouldn't we go all the way to Town Hall? Well, doesn't that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. It's awful for the couple businesses that are just on the outskirts of that, because we're not sending people necessarily, or making it as welcoming, as inviting as the rest of the downtown. So really it has raised a stink. And it's something that Brad has kind of beat the drum about for a couple years now, at least.
Who's in charge of the lights at the park? Or at the town hall property? Is it the chamber, or who is it?
Are you talking about the light show?
The light show, yes.
It was downtown. And then from what I understand, they stopped maybe because they couldn't find enough volunteers or something. But like all the lights were just, from what I was told, I didn't see this myself, but all the lights were just thrown in a dumpster. But
literally?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. So I guess it's not coming back, Chris. Sorry.
No, that's this was before, and then the town, I think, started doing one. Was it last year? Or people had raised such a stink about those lights being gone. We'll have to confirm all of that. But
we'll call Chris or something.
Yeah, I think they had started a new one, not nearly as extravagant as the one before, because that one was put together by an individual, I think. But it was downtown Mooresville that did that, from my understanding. But yeah. So then the town brought back a much smaller scale one. I think that they brought it might have been last year or the year before. We'll have to confirm that, because I don't want to be completely wrong here. But yeah, so we're joining the club that's like, give us some more lights. We love all the beautiful festive stuff. So listen, it's been another week, and we hope you enjoy your next one, and we shall be back then to talk to you.
Thanks for spending part of your holiday season with us. You can hear this full episode, plus previous ones, on the WSIC News app. WSIC,